Hello, hello. This is an impromptu live session. So whoever jumps on, it was probably meant for you to see this video. I am out here doing my morning walk. So excuse, no makeup, glasses in the car. This is me raw and cut. So as you come in, guys, make sure y'all hit that like button so that it gets pushed out. So I do a lot of research, guys, about credit and what's going on out here in the financial streets, to bring awareness to the Starr credit community, as well as the Credit Ready program members. I try to stay abreast to what is going on out here in the world. So, with that being said, I have been seeing a lot of products being pushed as a way to build your credit. And when I say products, I'm meaning alternative solutions to actually going to your actual financial institutions to build your credit. So, guys, I had to get on this live while I'm doing my exercise this morning and just talk about it real quick. So, if you come on the live, please, guys, y'all like this video so it get pushed out. But I'm gonna tell you guys, as a person that looks at credit reports, as a person that talks to clients on a regular basis, I keep seeing the same repetitive mistakes that is going on people's credit. And that is using predatory credit building solutions as well as offbeat credit building solutions. And what I mean by that, credit cards like Premier Bank, credit cards like Credit One, credit cards like Mission Lane and Upgrade, and a whole bunch of other cards, as well as self-building credit solutions to build credit, and a whole bunch of other ones that y'all in the chat list some of the ones that y'all have heard of that are alternative to you getting an actual bank account and building credit that way. I'm old school. I worked in banking for 15 years. That is my complete background. So I'm old school when it comes to building credit. I was not always that way. The first time I was taught to build credit, my grandma took me to a finance company, one of the worst places you could go to build credit, because first of all, they give you like a $300 loan that's probably got 100% interest rate or some crazy number like that. So that $300 probably turned into $900 by the time I paid it back off. So we got to be real careful about the types of credit that we're using to build our credit, because like Credit One, those type of cards that have so-called annual fees or maintenance fees just for you to have that $300 low limit card, that once you spend what $60, you already over the limit. Not over the limit, but over utilization. That's not going to help your credit at all. It's going to actually make it worse. So I want us to be more careful about the information that we're using to build our credit. So when I said I was old school about building credit now, I mean we need to start building a relationship with our local banks or our local credit unions, preferably when it comes down to us getting credit. And we got to do that because I got a client that I talked to the other day. She is going through a hardship, and I told her she's only missed one payment, but she's not in 30 days yet. So it hadn't actually hit her credit. So I told her to call Credit One, because that's one of the companies. Y'all hear those ducks. And see what they can do to help her not get a late, because she's experiencing some hardships right now. And she's trying not to tear her credit up. She calls them and they tell her that there's nothing that they can do until she has missed 3 payments. So she got to be 90 days late before they will even help her. This is Credit One. How stupid is that? Y'all hit the like button. How stupid is that? That she's got to be 90 days late before she can even get any help from them. And it wasn't just them. She had called a couple of other ones. I think Upgrade was in that list, and it was one other one. I can't think of it. But to tell me that I got to continue to have late payments and ruin my credit just for you to help me is bogus. I'm trying to prevent. I already see that I'm having a hardship right now. So I'm trying to prevent it from getting even further. Therefore, I'm being proactive and calling you and trying to get you to assist me. And yet you telling me that I got to continue to be late or get my first late reported to my credit report so that you would do something. You know what it is. They want her to be late so they can tack on late fees and all this crazy interest. So by the time, if she, her economic situation turn around, she gonna owe them all this daggone money. That's what it is. She gonna owe them all this daggone money, and her situation is gonna be worse than what it was when she called them the other day. That's what they want. They want this for her. And if you were dealing with a local credit union and you had a secured credit card or a secured loan, or even if it wasn't secured, just a regular credit card or a regular loan, and you call them with the same conversation and say, hey, I'm having a hardship right now. Economically, things are going on with me. What can I do to stop me from getting a late payment? You know, I'm sorry this is going on. You doing the right thing and contacting them. The first thing that a bank or local credit union is going to do is going to try to help you, because at the end of the day, they don't want this to become a bad loan to them. They don't want it to become a bad loan. They're not trying to get your interest. I'm not saying they're not trying to make money off of you, but at the end of the day, they would rather keep you as a good customer than a collection, right? They'll rather keep that loan in house than for you to turn into a collection, and then they have to pay more money to a collection agency and God knows wherever else they got to do to go through the whole process when this loan or credit card becomes a bad debt. So that's why I was saying about we just have to be more careful about what kind of credit we are using to build our credit with, because you want to have quality credit sources on your credit report versus the quantity of credit sources. So when you want to go to uh, big banks to get loans for a home or a car, you want to be favorable, because those are two big ticket items: car and a house. You want to be favorable to the bank. So if you got a bunch of rent reporting credit on your credit report and just subpar, subprime credit reporting on your credit report, it does not give off a good financial standing. It doesn't. And I'm telling you this from a person that worked in banks. You know what I'm saying? When I was looking at credit reports and we looking at all these predatory and bad credit building stuff that screams bad credit. Some credit cards and some credit stuff screams this person had bad credit at one point. And I'm trying to tell you guys, you have to understand that the type of credit that you get also matters. When you're going to get finance companies and payday loans, and if you're not able to pay those things off and they get on your credit report as a bad payday loan or something like that, then you go out to try to get a loan through a bank or a credit union, and they see that type, that screams to them that you got issues with your finances, that you even got to go look at a payday loan. So I am impressing upon you guys to go out today. Well, today's Saturday, so you might not can't do it today, but go out Monday. If you do not have a banking relationship with a local bank. I'm not talking about your big boy banks. When I say local, I mean in your area where you live at. I'm not talking about Chase. I'm not talking about Bank of America. I'm not talking about Wells Fargo. I'm talking about a local community bank or credit union. That's what I'm talking about. Because those people will lend you money and will help you way quicker than your big banks. You got to almost dot all the I's and cross all the T's for them. But your local credit union in your community, or could be tied to your employer, they are there to help you and assist you for your financial needs and the times that you're going to need financial assistance. That's what they're there for, right? So if you're not already using them as a primary institution, I don't care if you do have an account with one of the big ones. You still need to have your account with your local credit union or your local bank, small credit union, small bank. You need to have a relationship with them too. Okay. So it's okay to have the big banks. And a lot of people only choose Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, PNC, and stuff like that because they have a lot of locations. It ain't about the customer service. It ain't about how they treat you. It's about they're all over the place. So if you go out of town a lot, the likelihood of you finding a location is good. So I'm not saying you not to have one, but you need to have a local community bank or credit union that you can do business with because they are trying to grow the community that you're in. Therefore, they're trying to help the people that stay in that community. They're trying to help the people that stay in that community. So you need to support those institutions by doing business with them. Because if you do business with them, they will do business with you when it's time for you to need them. So that means you need to open up a savings or a checking account with them and start using the account. I can't tell you, y'all know most of y'all that's on my YouTube channel that look at most of my videos, y'all know I have a handmade bath and body store. And I can't tell you the people that come into my shop, and because I worked in banking, I'm always looking at what kind of card they're using. They're using Chime and what's that other one? Cash App cards all the time. Chime and Cash App as a way to store their money. And because of the background that I'm in, I get all in their business. It's probably not a good thing, but I get in their business and I ask them, especially the Cash App cards. I'm like, nah, you're not keeping your money inside that Cash App, are you? And they be like, oh no, I'm just transferring it. It's gonna pull from my bank account. Okay, you know, that's not good either. But please don't keep your money in Cash App because Cash App is not federal FDIC insured. So somebody can steal your money out of there and bye-bye, it's gone, and Cash App ain't gonna help you. Okay. So you can just kiss that goodbye. All right. So Chime is in the banking thing, but I just want to press upon you guys to start using your local community institutions. Okay. Places that you can actually walk in, and if you need to sit down and talk to a banker, a teller, or whoever, a loan officer, you can actually do that. You can actually go in and have a personal relationship with these people, business and personal. When I worked in one credit union I worked in for like 9 years, I used to have people that would sit down and wait to talk to just me. If I'm busy, if I got a client already, I wait. It might be two other, bankers that can help them. I wait on Starr. I wait. And once you build that relationship and that rapport with somebody, they will be more than willing to try to help you in any way that they can. But if you're building your credit with Mission Lane, Destiny Card, Credit One Bank, Premier Bank, and all these other online sources to build your credit, reporting your rent and all that crap. Who are you talking to when you really need to do a big ticket item like a car or you want to buy your first home? Who are you talking to? If you were to go to your local community credit union or bank in your local community and build a relationship with them, and you go in there and you sit down with a personal banker and you're like, hey, I want to start building my credit with you all because I have a goal. I want to buy a home, or I want to get my first car, or the car that I have is giving me problems. So, but I know I got some credit issues. I want to, learn what I need to do so I can get financing with you all. I guarantee you, 99% of the time, if you go into a local credit union or your local bank and have that exact conversation that I just had with you and just said that, they will help you. They will tell you the steps that you need to do. They may ask you, okay, can I pull your credit right now? Can I get you the sign so I can pull your credit right now so I can see where you at? And if you give them permission, they pull it, they look at it, they say, okay, well, you need to work on this, work on that. We got something that can help you with this. We got another product like a secured card that can help you with this. And if you keep this card for 6 months, then you come back, you do X, Y, and Z with this card, we will help you get a good financing on your car. Or we'll try to get you in position to buy your first home. That's what having a local bank or a local credit union as your primary institution can do for you. And I'm not just saying this just because it sounds cute. I'm telling you this from firsthand experience. I did it for 15 years. I did it. So I'm telling you guys to think about the type of credit when y'all are out here and you are trying to get your finances straight. I want you guys to think about the credit that you're applying for. Don't just apply for it because I said it's easy to get. Some of the other YouTube channels say it's easy to get, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You need to be really and truly thinking about the type of credit that you're applying for. Real talk. Now, somebody put in the chat, Navy Federal. Okay, here's the thing with Navy Federal. Navy Federal is a credit union. And I have done several videos on Navy Federal because they are a big credit union. So here's the thing. Navy Federal Credit Union is so big. They're the biggest credit union in the world. 168 billion in assets, right? They are not considered a local credit union. They are big bank. They are a big credit union. So you may not get that same personalized attention that you would get with your true local credit union that may not have but one or two branches in your area. So Navy Federal is not that person. It's not that person. Okay? They ain't the person for that. They might have been, but they're not anymore. I did a video about it's over. So many scams, so many people selling their access codes, and people running up a bag and not paying them people back, and getting vehicle checks and doing other stuff with them. That bridge is burned. If they were doing anything to help people, like I said, it ain't gonna be like how it was because of all the scammers. Everybody and their grandma ran to get an account with Navy Federal. So I don't look at them as a local institution or a local community institution anymore. They too big. Let me see what I got down here. Somebody put, good morning, Miss Nikki. How you doing? A lot of people think just because they got their credit back up from bouncing back from late payments after a month of getting credit score back up can just go get credit cards, no pay on time for at least 24 months consistently and watch how many credit offers you get. Here's the thing. What you said is true, but I want you guys to only apply for credit when you need credit. Because credit is one of those things that we end up living off of it, living above our means, and we get in debt a lot of times. So you need to have a purpose and a goal for why you are applying for credit. And not for you to be flashy, not for you to live above your means, not for you to get in debt. It's not for that. It's literally and truly for you to come up in a way that you don't have the cash to do it, but in a strategic way. So if you know you're going to need a car and you're trying to get the best car loan, you're trying to get a good interest rate so you ain't got to go to these predatory car people, like buy here, pay here places and those type of things. That's what your credit is for. So if you get one or two credit cards, right, you get a secured card with your credit union, and then let that card graduate to an unsecured card. And then you might even get a secured loan with your credit union, right? Some people call it a pledge loan, but it's a secured loan. And while you're doing that, you also building your savings account or building a certificate or something like that. Then once you figure out what kind of car you want, what kind of interest rate you want, and you actually talk to a personal banker, then it's time to try to pull your credit, because now you have an event that is causing for you to have to pull your credit. Because you might see a $20,000 car and I don't have $20,000, but I'm not trying to pay a 20% interest rate on $20,000. So I need to keep my credit intact. That means keeping my inquiries low. So if you only got a secured card, and sometimes if you go to a credit union and get a secured credit card or a secured loan, they won't even do a hard pull on you. It'll only be a soft pull. So then you don't have any inquiries on your credit report. See what I'm saying? So it's all about what you're doing with your credit. I just put out a video about what the lenders are looking at, and I broke down how you are given 300 points by FICO off the top, and you have to come up with the other 550. And I broke it all the way down by points. Payment history counts for 192 points. Credit utilization counts for 165 points. The length of time you've had credit counts for 82 points. Credit mix, how much credit do you have? Do you have credit cards? Do you have installment loans? The mix of credit counts for 55 points. Credit inquiries count for 55 points to come up with the grand total of 550 points. So if you got a whole bunch of credit inquiries, that's 55 points. Now you might be like, but that's not a lot. Well, it could mean the difference of you having A credit and B credit. Because say if you have uh, a 700 and you have a bunch of inquiries, that's going to drop your score back into 600. So now you back in C credit. You could drop 55 points from 700 just for a ton of inquiries. That won't be good. Just for inquiries. Not for late payments, not for credit utilization, but too many inquiries. So you got to understand how you are working with your credit. Y'all hit the like button so this video get pushed out to some more people that might need to hear this information. I appreciate you. Somebody said, I use credit to get rich. I use it to invest and build wealth, but I go for the 0 APR for 18 months and take advantage of that. There's nothing wrong with that. But I don't tell anybody 0% APR credit cards are great. But even still, do not use a credit card if you don't already have the cash to pay it back off. Period. I don't care what you're doing with it. If you take $1,000 off the card and invest in crypto or whatever you want to invest in, you better have $1,000 in your bank account so you can pay it back off when them 18 months up. You can get a $10,000 0% APR and take the whole $10,000 and do whatever you want to do with it. But in 18 months, you need to have $10,000. And you know why they do 0% APR cards? Because they know 99% of the people will not have the money when their APR is up. They ain't in the business of losing money. They know the majority of the people are not going to have the money. That's why they give it to you. And then they're going to go back and get all that interest for them 18 months if you don't have the money to pay it back. And when you investing with other people's money, like you said with the 0% APR card, and say your investments don't make the money back, now you stuck with that money. You stuck with that debt if you ain't got the money to pay it back off. So that's why I still say, if you ain't got the money, don't be using other people's money, because it's going to catch up with you. You got to already have the money and just say, okay, I'm going to keep my liquid cash. I'm going to keep my capital that I have, and I'm going to use somebody else's money to make me money. In essence, that's free money, but you have the money. You just don't want to tie up your money, but you have the money. That's the thing. You got to have the money. You can get rich all you want to off of other people's money, but you got to have the money yourself, because they're going to come calling for that after that 18 months is up. They're going to want their bread. Guarantee you, they're going to want their bread. And if you don't have it, guess what? You finna get hit with 18 months of worth of back interest. They finna get you. They finna get you. So you better make sure that you putting that money back. If you did 10,000, you need to divide 10,000 by 18 months and make sure you're putting that back in a savings account, a high yield savings account that can beat inflation, so that when that time comes for you to pay that thing back off, you got that bread. Yeah, you can use business cards to hide the credit utilization. That's good. I have business credit cards that don't report. American Express business don't report. My Chase Inc. cards don't report. Truist card I have don't report. Um, I even got the PayPal MasterCard don't report. So it's a bunch of them out there that don't report that can keep your credit utilization down. But you got to treat business credit the same way you treat your personal credit. Still, don't be overspending even on business credit. Don't overshoot your shot on business credit either. Because if you're like me and you're an entrepreneur and your money is not always consistent, then you want to still make sure that you're able to pay those cards back off. Because right now, the average credit card interest is over 22%, even if you got an 800 credit score, 850. It's just where the Fed rate hikes are right now. The credit interest is just high, period. So it don't even matter what your credit score is right now. If your credit score is real bad, you might get up to 30%, interest on the credit card, 35, depending on how predatory the card is. Like Credit One banks, and they got 35.99 interest or 34.99 interest. That's retarded to me, just to carry that suck card. American Express, you gotta have at least 700 or better, and you gotta make sure that you have all your credit in position, no collections, no late payments. Chasing all them, they want, when you get in their cards, you want to make sure that your credit is top notch. So how you get the top notch credit? How do you get the top notch credit? Building your credit with your local banks and local credit unions, and not these other predatory lending sources or reporting your rent and all that kind of crazy stuff. You know, you think American Express gonna give you a bag just because you letting your rent report on your credit report? Huh? But if they see that you have a account with your local credit union and you got all your accounts is with a bank or a credit union, and they see that you're dealing with a real financial institution, and that's how you build your credit, then they'll probably be more likely to lend to you than if you're reporting your rent, or if you're getting these predatory credit cards with only $300 limit. American Express don't like broke people, and this ain't being nasty. This is being real. American Express is one of those cards. They kind of like uh, Goldman Sachs. That's why Goldman Sachs is trying to get rid of the Apple Card, because they didn't realize Apple Card was trying to get all types of tiers of credit, and Goldman Sachs is for the rich. And they like, man, it's a lot of people ain't paying the Apple Card back, and they don't deal with subprime credit. They don't do that. So that's why they trying to figure out where the Apple Card gonna go. Some people said Apple was gonna go to American Express. I highly doubt it. I highly doubt American Express gonna get the Apple Card. Cause that ain't their lane. They might can get Synchrony Bank. Synchrony Bank might get the Apple Card, but it won't be American Express. If American Express get that card, I will pass out. I'll pass out in the floor if they take that card. I don't recommend Lexington Law. You need to Google the CFPB Lexington Law. The CFPB had to sue Lexington Law for telling lies, charging people and not helping them with their credit. I actually did a video on my channel. Go on my channel history. Did a video about Lexington Law and creditrepair.com. Yeah, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau just sued them for like, I want to say like $3 billion or something. They don't even supposed to be still marketing to people. Best thing you could do when it comes to repairing your credit is going on the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and learning. They have a whole bunch of stuff on there that you can learn about that. Do it yourself. It's free. It's free. Exactly, Sean Robinson. Never spend any money or use my full credit cards if I don't already have the money in my bank account. Absolutely. Adina Collins. Hi, Starr. Hey, honey. Do you think Capital One will succeed in acquiring Discover? You know what? I have reluctantly did a report on that on my channel because I'm praying to God that they don't get it. Discover has had some issues with regulations in the past, and so Capital One has never had any issues. So I think that's one of the main reasons why they want to do this acquisition or whatever, do this merger. But I like Discover better than I like Capital One. And I've done a video on about this too. Capital One is bad about putting people in a bad credit bucket if you use them to build your credit. They are not a good credit building source either. Not to me. They got the platinum card that you can put secured money on. They got the Quicksilver. But if you get a credit card with Capital One and say your credit is in the 600s, like maybe 640, and say that's when you get your secured card with them, or you might get an unsecured card like Quicksilver with them, and say they only give you a $300 or a $500 limit. They are terrible about increasing their limits. If you start off with a high interest rate with them, you will always have a high interest rate with them. And this is from firsthand experience. The first time I got my first Capital One card was back in 2013 or 2014, somewhere around in there. So I've had it for at least 10 years. And it was a Quicksilver card. It never was secured. It started off with $300 limit. And real talk, I didn't know a lot about credit back then, or I really didn't care, to be honest with you. It wasn't like I didn't know, it was like I didn't care. So I'm maxing out the card, the 300 all the way at the max. I pay it off, max it back out, wasn't looking at utilization, didn't care nothing about the statement date, none of that. So eventually, they gave me an increase. Probably took 2 years just to get the $500, Then probably was another 2 years before they increased it to $1,000. And shoot, it was probably just in 2021 that card finally got to $4,000. It took it forever just to get to $4,000. Versus my Discover card that I've only had less than a year. My limit with them was like 6,500, and it wasn't even 3 months before they increased it to 8,000. Now, mind you, my credit score is close to 800 now. But when I went to Capital One to apply for the Sabre One card, same credit score, they gave me a $2,000 limit, $2,000 limit, and same credit score, close to 800. They gave me a $2,000 limit with a 30.99 interest rate if I was to carry balance. That's ridiculous. Where Discover gave me 15 months interest free, and like I said, they had even increased the limit by $1,500 more, and it wasn't even 3 months. So Discover, to me, when you build with them, they actually build with you. They one credit card that I would say, if you were to get their secured card, I'm not opposed to their secured card, because they're still a major bank. They're still a major player. But I hope Capital One don't get them. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate your subscription. But yeah, I, I hope Capital One don't get them. I don't. I really don't, because I like Discover. Discover got some nice products. They even do personal loans. They have high yield savings accounts. Now I haven't did any. I just have that Discover It card because they got those different categories, and I'm all about rewards. In the first year you have that Discover It card, they match you dollar for dollar. So if I get $300 back in cash back, they're gonna give me another $300 at my 1 year anniversary. So that'll be $600. Capital One ain't doing that. You don't want to go to Capital One until your credit is already good. Then you'll get all the perks that Capital One have. They'll give you all the perks then. But y'all just want to just be careful about the kind of credit that y'all are getting, and to build your credit. Don't try to apply for all these type of loans just because one of us YouTubers tell y'all to apply for it, because they giving you $50,000 with no hard pulls and all this. Y'all got to learn to read the fine print of that stuff. If they telling you, you know, no hard pulls, excuse me, if they telling y'all guys no hard pulls and all that stuff, I guarantee you the interest rate on that money is ridiculously high. Ridiculously high. We can't just be all excited about, oh, we're gonna get this bread and it's gonna be easy. They ain't looking at our credit. When they're not looking at your credit good and they're not worrying about your doing a hard pull, then you got to see what is the catch. What is the catch? Why are y'all not doing that? They're not doing that because they probably got a bunch of hidden fees. They probably got a crazy interest rate. So if you do get that easy 5,000, you're probably gonna pay 15,000 back, versus building a relationship with your local bank and your local credit union. And most credit union interest rates on a personal loan, even with the worst credit, most time ain't gonna run you over 10 to 15%, maybe. Just depends on, the credit union. But you ain't gonna be paying no crazy outrageous 20%, 25, 30, 40, 100%. You ain't gonna be paying that with no credit union. What's considered ridiculously high? Anything over 10%. Especially when you're talking about a personal loan or a car loan. Shoot, on the car loan, I wouldn't even pay over 6%. That's just me though. I ain't trying to buy that car and another one with no crazy interest. So if you got even if your credit bad, like 620 or 640, you need to wait, save your bread until you can build your credit score up. Don't just go get these crazy car, because this was gonna happen. If you go use your credit before you're ready to use your credit, and say you got a 640, right? And you may need a car. I would rather you save and get you a little put than to go get into a finance situation where you might be paying 20-25% interest. And then your car payment is going to be high. You're not even factoring in your insurance, maintenance, because it's probably going to be a used car. And it's probably not even worth what they're asking for. So you're probably going to be upside down just because your credit bad. You're going to owe more than what the car is worth. Hey, and they're probably going to try to sell you some old gap insurance. It's probably going to be high. And they're going to tack that on to the car. You know what I'm saying? That's all the things we got to think about. I'd rather you go out, put $3,000, $4,000 in a little put that can get you to A to B and work on your credit so that when you do go to the lender or you're building your relationship with your local bank or your local credit union, you're going to get a good interest rate. Versus just, oh, I need it right now. I need it right now. The microwave society that we in. We don't want to save. We don't want to wait until it's our time to do these things. And that's how we get in trouble. There's no way that if you buy a $20,000 car, that your interest rate should be 27%. I'm I'm gonna give y'all an example of this. This is real life. One summer back in 2019, I did accounting for a car dealership here in my local town. I did accounting over a summer for a local car dealership. And so they asked me to put some contracts together where people had bought cars over the weekend. So I'm putting these people contracts, paperwork together to send to whoever, gave them financing. Santander, Ally, you know, people that do that kind of lending for cars. So I was working for a Nissan dealership. So I'm sitting here looking at the paperwork, y'all. Now, check this out. I'm looking at the paperwork. There was a mother and a daughter on the loan. The daughter, when I looked at her license, she was around 20, 25, somewhere in that neighborhood. And her mom was in her 50s. Okay, so the daughter's credit was only a 530, somewhere around in there, real low. So I'm assuming that the finance people at the dealership, this was over the weekend. I'm back on a Monday. Told her that she needed a cosigner because her credit score was so low. So she brought her mom. Guess what her mom credit score was, y'all? It was 1 point higher than hers. Her credit score was like a 536. Her daughter was a 535, like legit. And this girl was getting a brand new 2019 Chevrolet. I think it was a what you call it? Not a cruise, but one step down from a cruise. No bells and whistles, no sunroof, nothing. Just plain Jane, no package, nothing. They wanted 20-something thousand dollars for this car. It was like 20,999 or something like that. And guys, if y'all don't never pay attention to the box on that first part of your contract, right? It'll tell you how much you finance, how much the financing is going to cost you. Pay that attention. How much they financing and how much this financing is going to cost you. In the cost you box, the amount they was financing was 20,999. In the finance box, how much it was going to cost for them to finance it was more than what the car cost. The finance charge was over 21,000 because the interest rate they gave her and her mama was a co-signer, was 27% on this $20,000 loan. And this girl, like I said, I can't remember the exact age, but she was between 20 and 25 years old. I would have a stroke if my son got a car loan with that kind of interest at that young of an age. 27%. That is ridiculous. You ain't even getting that kind of return on the daggone stock market on your stocks and investment. Your savings account ain't paying that kind of money. But yeah, you finna give a 27% interest to a car loan just to have a brand new car? Because you're not willing to wait until you build your credit up. Your mama credit report, credit scoring, but 1 point higher than yours. That was a joke. That was a joke. But car dealerships don't care either. They don't care either. I saw it plenty of times when I worked there doing that summer trying to make some extra money. I saw it plenty of times. Like I said, when I worked in that accounting office, putting them contracts together. You think they care? They just trying to get their commission. Because I learned with the especially like with the big dealerships like Nissan and stuff, them cars that be on the lot, they don't own them cars. Them cars are financed. And when you go and buy the car, that's when they satisfy their loan. So the cars that's sitting on the car lot are financed. The car dealership has actually got a loan for them to have them cars out there. So when you buy the car, like that lady did, Santana got the loan, right? Santana cut the check to Nissan. Nissan gonna in turn send that money that they owe for that particular car to Ally, because Ally is the one who has all their cars. And I learned that from working there. I said, okay, so all these cars y'all see out here in this parking lot at Nissan and all these big time dealerships, the people that got the dealership don't own these cars. They hoping to sell these cars so they can satisfy their loan and get a little kickback. And I said, wow. Another thing y'all probably didn't know. That's why when you go to that's why you need to have a local bank or a local credit union in your pocket before you go to even buy a car and go ahead and get that pre-approval. Because here's the thing. If you go to your credit union and get your pre-approval, right? And they say, okay, we're gonna pre-approve for $15,000. You can get you a car from anywhere up to $15,000, and this is the interest rate we're gonna give you. We're gonna give you an interest rate of say 5%, right? And be like, cool. You go to the dealership and they gonna try to talk you out of not doing the deal with your credit union 9 times out of 10, because on their end, that's a cash deal. And they're not making any money off the cash deal, right? So they want you to finance with them, because say if they call one of their lenders up after they done shotgun your credit to everybody, especially if you don't have good credit, they're gonna shotgun your credit to everybody they think that might can get you approved. So you might have 30 inquiries after you get done getting your credit shotgun. And so they say, well, we can't beat 5% that your credit union giving you, but so if you do it with us, it's gonna be 9%, but we're gonna give you some free car washes or some free oil changes or some type of thing just to keep you from getting it with the credit union, right? So here's the thing though, behind the scenes that y'all don't get, that y'all don't see, that I learned when I was working at the dealership. The when they go to the when the dealership go to the banks or to the finance companies, they might have told them that they'll give them an interest rate of 3%. But when they come back to you, they're gonna say, well, we can't beat 5%, which they can, because the bank said that they'll give it to them 3%. But nah, they gotta make some money. So they're gonna say, we can't beat it, we'll do it at 9. Because then they want to take that other 7, they're gonna take that other 7 and make some money. So they're gonna try to give y'all all these incentives. Free car washes, oil changes, and all this stuff. And y'all be like, okay, I can do that. But y'all ain't thinking about the life of the loan. The life of the loan. That's where they're gonna get you at. Oh yeah, I know who MC Light is. I'm old school, honey. I'm 45. I know who MC Light is. She's a very beautiful woman. So thank you so much. But yeah, I love MC Light. Yes, sir. I grew up on her music. My favorite song from her is Georgie Porgy. If y'all got any other questions, y'all just put it in the chat. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button. I just had to get on here real quick. I didn't even mean to be on here this long. I just wanted to tell you guys, just be careful. It's people out here, when your credit is not good, they are trying to get you. So therefore, you need to be building your credit with the best credit sources. Like I said, your local community banks, local credit unions in your area. In your area. Start building a relationship with them. Start getting secure credit cards with them if you don't already have credit built. And if you've had bad credit in the past, that's even more reason why you should have a relationship started with a local bank or a local credit union and let them know that I am trying to rebound from bankruptcy. I'm trying to rebound from some of the mistakes that I did in the past when I didn't have the education and the information that I have now. Okay? And that's why you want to do that. That's why you want to do that. So that you don't become victim to these predatory places and these predatory lenders. Somebody asked me how I feel about PenFed. I love PenFed. I love PenFed. They are number 3 in terms of the biggest credit unions, but they still have a small asset size. They in the billions, but they still have a small asset size and they still have a small membership size. Their membership is like 3 million. Navy Fed is like 13 million or something like that. And even though PenFed has only got like 3 million members, they still number 3 in asset size. So I love PenFed. PenFed is still, to me, in the local community credit union, the way they treat you. The only thing about PenFed is they don't have as many credit products as Navy Fed, but, and when I say that, I mean they don't have business accounts. You can still get a mortgage with them. You can still get a car loan with them, boats, stuff like that. But they don't do business accounts. And I did a video on Navy Fed. I'm not a real fan of Navy Fed business accounts anyway, because they're not for new businesses. They're for businesses that's already established, that's making at least $100,000 or more a year, at least for the last 2 years. That's who they're for. Somebody said, oh yeah, there's predators everywhere. That's why you got to be careful. Don't be so quick to hit the apply button. Read that fine print, the terms and conditions that they don't want you to read. And learn your different credit sources that are in your local area. Shop around in your local area. Go online, when you're riding around in your community and see some name of some credit unions and local banks. And then go back home and Google them and see what they offer. I'm actually going to do a video Monday on how to pick the best banks for you to get started, best banks and credit unions. Because there's over like 5,000 credit unions in the world. over 4,000 banks in the world. So you got a big selection. Oh yeah, Credit One bank card, the worst credit card you ever get in your life. That's good. Home. She said she was an authorized user on my People card for a year. Just got approved for 11K from Navy Federal Platinum card. That's what's up. Now, why did you get the Platinum card, Humble Homes? Why you didn't get like, because the Platinum card is good for balance transfers. Why did you pick that card? Why did you pick that card instead of getting like the more rewards that has like 4x points on groceries or 4x or 3x points on groceries and gas and all that stuff? Why you pick that card, Home? I don't have what it says VIQT PIB. What credit union can you suggest for business? You need to look in your local area and see what local credit union or local bank in your area, see if they offer business accounts, and then look for what it is that you're looking for a business account. Are you looking for a business account that also offer credit cards, business loans? You have to look in your area. I always say start in your area before you branch out to bigger institutions. Like I was saying, your Bank of America, your Wells Fargo, and all that stuff. I say always look small first because your community, especially if you have a business in your community, they'll help you quicker because they're trying to help grow the community. That's right. If you don't read the fine print, you gonna get scammed. You can have a business like with Navy Fed. Navy Fed wants you to show where your business is making at least $100,000 net. I'm not talking about gross. I'm talking about net after expenses. After expenses, guys. What APR did they give you, Humble Homes, on that card? Where you said you went with them for the lower APR? Because if you don't plan on carry a balance, which I suggest you don't carry a balance because that's how you get in credit card debt, then that low APR is crap and you're not going to be getting any rewards. That card is basically for somebody that needs to transfer a balance. It's not for someone that really, you're not going to rack no points with that card. That card don't give you no points. You don't earn no cash back or nothing with that card. Navy said more rewards card is the best card they got. It's an American Express network card. It's not a Navy Express credit card. It's a Navy. Now see, yeah, 18%. That's their highest interest rate. That ain't a low APR. That's their highest APR. So that card is not even a good card for you. It's not a good card. You're not gonna make any money off that card. I'm all about getting credit cards because of the rewards, y'all. That's what I'm about. Pay them credit cards back off every month. It don't even matter what the APR is if you pay them credit cards back off every month. I can't say home should you apply for another one in 3 months. I can't say. You might can ask them, can you do a product switch? They might let you do a product switch. I'm not a fan of just getting a credit card just to get it. You might can hit them up and ask them, can you do a product switch? And say, hey, I got this platinum card, but I've been looking at your more rewards card, or I've been looking at your cash card, or one of the other ones. At least get one that's going to give you some reward points back or some cash back or something, just for if you're going to use it for everyday spending. You know, that's just my opinion. I like the more rewards card better than the flagship card, and I have the flagship card, but I like the more rewards card better because it's really good for everyday spending. It's really good for everyday spending. It's got like I said, I think it's 3x on groceries, and I think it even but that might be PenFed that includes Walmart and Target, because a lot of times they do 3x on groceries, they might not include Walmart and Target because they may not look at Walmart or Target as a grocery store. But yeah, I would see about doing the product switch. I wouldn't necessarily apply for another card because Navy Fed will do an inquiry every single time. PenFed will let you double dip in the first 30 days of you getting a card with them. If they pull your credit, you can get multiple credit products with them with one hard pull in the first 30 days. But Navy Fed is going to pull your credit every single time. Every single time. So that's an inquiry every single time on your TransUnion report, which, like I said, is going to drop your credit score. And you don't want to have no more than like 2 to 3 inquiries on your credit report every 2 years. That's a healthy amount of inquiries. You should not be applying for credit so often. It's not necessary. It looks very risky to lenders. I just did a video on that. You don't want to look risky to lenders. That's all your credit score tell them anyway. How risky are you? Or if you are risky with a bunch of inquiries, it looks like you're trying to run up a bag. Honey, you didn't want to get denied, so that's why you went with that one. I understand. I get you. But we just got to be more strategic in the type of credit that we're applying for, because that card is not going to help you. That card is literally, all you're going to be doing on that card is literally using it and paying it back off. No rewards, no points, nothing. The APR is 18%, but if you go back and look at all the other cards, that's the highest APR that Navy Fed has. Navy Fed doesn't go higher than 18%. So you had got 11%, and I'm like, okay, but you still shouldn't carry no balance even if it's 11%. But 18% is their highest APR, so you didn't even get the low APR for that card. Yep, you didn't even get the low APR for that card. So that card is really no point. But I understand you scared. You know, you taking a shot because you say you was an authorized user. So I understand. But sometimes we just gotta wait. You know, sometimes you just have to wait until you're more secure. That's what my credit rating program is about. It's about being ready with your credit instead of just applying and crossing your fingers and hoping it's going to go through. We ain't doing that in 2024. So don't apply for nothing else until you get to the point where you're confident that you know you're going to get approved. That's it. I ain't beating you up, Home Homes. I'm not beating you up on that. We just got to be more strategic. Well, then if you say your score is still bad, I was surprised I even got pre-approved. Well, that means you still got some work to do, darling, or a dude. You still got some work to do. You still got some work to do. That's what that means. That means you still got some work you got to do. VIQT Power B1, I need to transfer some business debt to a business credit card, but I'm slowly paying my personal debt off, so I'm not able to get approved for a business card now. And any suggestions? My suggestion is for you to debt snowball and get out of debt, honey. Transferring debt to another debt is just prolonging the time. You need to start writing down your debts. I got a video on that, how to get out of debt. I was in debt for 20 years. It's time to stop it. Moving debt around is not paying it off. That's why they're not giving you no money, because you're a risk. Another business is another business lender is not trying to take on another business debt. But yes, I would snowball and get out of that debt, and don't apply for nothing else, because business debt to me is just as bad as personal debt. And if you got both of them going on, God bless you. But I will work my tail off to pay that debt off as quick as I can, so that you can save money on all that interest that you're throwing in the garbage. That's robbing you of your future, robbing you of your wealth. I will pay that stuff off as quickly as I can. If I have to get outside of my regular business and outside of whatever you could do extra to throw as much money on that debt as you could throw it, I would do it.
I don't care what it is. Uber Eats, Instacart, whatever it is you got to do to get as much money as you can to throw on them debts, because every day that you're paying interest, you are robbing yourself from your future wealth and from the future wealth of your generations after you. Don't give them people your money. They got enough money. They don't need yours. They got enough money. These credit card companies and banks and stuff, they got enough money. They don't need yours. That's why I say go to local banks. Wait till your credit is good so you pay the least amount of interest. And if you should be paying interest on nothing more than a home loan. And I understand that people have to have transportation. But when you're paying interest on credit cards, it is money in the toilet. Money in the toilet. Personal loans, I'm not a fan really of personal loans because you can save and build up an emergency fund, and you can also save to get your expenses, save 3 to 6 months of expenses just in case if you have a job loss or if you have a medical emergency or something like that. We got to learn to start saving and stop looking at credit as your emergency savings. Credit is not emergency money. Credit is not for that. And we got to stop doing that. We're only digging ourselves into a hole when we're using credit for savings in lieu of having a savings account. We're digging ourselves a hole, and it's robbing us of our future earnings because we are looking at our health being good, our job still being around when we're taking out this debt. We're banking on that. And also, one other thing, guys, that I like about dealing with local credit unions as well. A lot of times, a local credit union has insurance on all of their on credit products, even their credit cards. So if you were to be disabled, laid off, your payments would still get made. Like when I had to have surgery back in 2020, I had to have major surgery, and I had a personal loan from back in 2013, and when I had to have major surgery, I was on my last leg of that loan, like literally on my last leg of that loan. And because I had insurance on there, I had life and disability insurance on that loan. And these type of insurance products ain't on these online platforms. That's why it's good to have a local bank or credit union, because they offer life insurance, disability insurance. And because I had to have surgery and I was going to be out for 8 weeks, they paid my loan payment after the first 30 days of me being out. All I had to do was send in my paperwork from my doctor and from me having my surgery. That's all I had to do. And they made my loan payments until I went back to work. And I was back at work probably a whole month before they even stopped making the payments, because they were trying to make sure that I was going to be able to stay back at work before they stopped the benefit. So that's another good reason why you want to have a local bank or a credit union, because they do that on credit cards as well. A lot of credit cards with credit unions also come with life and disability insurance. You need to check into it, because a lot of times it offers it. They may not tell you that if you don't ask for it, but that's another thing. And you're not going to get that from Mission Lane and Credit One Bank and even Capital One. You're not going to get that. You only get that from your local credit unions and your local banks. No, never ever live out of your overdraft account. That screams. I did a video on that. All this stuff y'all talking about, I did videos on. Navy Fed call it OOPS, optional overdraft protection. Do you understand when you keep your account in the negative with a bank or a credit union that it screams, I'm broke? You don't want to look like you broke. So even if you have had your account with the bank, say you had your account with the credit union for 5 years and you keep your account in the negative, they ain't gonna give you no money, because you can't even handle your personal finance to keep your account out the negative. And you're giving them fees. They don't need your money. You need your money. Why are you giving them fees to use that overdraft protection? Keep your $35, your $30, or your $20. I don't care how much they charge. It could be $5. It's still yours and they don't need it. I ain't drove off yet. I'm leaned up. I'm not even leaned back. But I appreciate you looking out for me. I appreciate you looking out. GT3, I guess that stands for international. I appreciate you looking out for me. I need to pump my seat up, but I drive like an old lady. I got my seat all the way up to my steering wheel because I can't see. I got my glasses right here. But y'all see, I've been sweating, so they fogging up, so I can't keep them on right now. I appreciate you though. I appreciate all of y'all. I got to get out this off this live now. I appreciate everybody that checked in. Y'all make sure y'all leave some comments after I'm done with the live. Keep pushing it out so other people that might need to hear this information. I really do appreciate all your love and all y'all support, but I got to drive now, and I don't be trying to drive and talk on no live, honey. I got to stay focused. She 45, honey. She can't multitask like that no more. I got to wait for these glasses to unfold, too, so I can see what the real I'm doing. See that? I've been sweating. I ain't here trying to get it in. They told my cholesterol was high when I got my blood work done back in January. Your girl ain't no spring chicken no more, honey. But I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much for the love, and y'all have a blessed weekend. Enjoy y'all weekend. If y'all, I live out here in South Carolina, so it's so pretty today. So if y'all can get out, get y'all some of this good vitamin D. Enjoy some of this beautiful weather wherever y'all at. If y'all got some good weather going on, enjoy some outside today. Enjoy your family, and y'all be blessed. Okay. Thank y'all so much again.